The day the sky tore open like glass, I knew nothing on Earth would ever be the same. I had been alone on the observation deck of the orbital station, staring at the fragmented horizon of a dying planet, when she appeared. Not in a pod, not through a shuttle. She simply materialized, a shimmer in the air, her form bending light like it wasn't entirely real. Her eyes, wide, translucent, alien, locked on mine, and I felt my own heartbeat betray me. But that was only the beginning. She moved with a fluid grace, her skin catching the dim artificial lights, revealing lines of color I had never seen in nature. She seemed to shrink inward suddenly, as if recoiling, her hands moving instinctively to cover what her species considered shameful. But even in that moment of self-protection, there was a vulnerability that pierced me deeper than any laser weapon could. What was she hiding? Why was she here, on this human station orbiting a planet already half dead? None of us were prepared for the truth. I stepped closer, trying not to startle her. The station's metal walls hummed with the vibrations of distant engines, a constant reminder that we were alone in the void. "You don't need to hide," I said softly. I've never seen anyone like you." Her eyes flicked to me, then away, a subtle quiver betraying her controlled composure. "Humans, they stare," she whispered, almost to herself. "They always stare at what they cannot understand." A warning flared in my mind. This wasn't curiosity anymore. It was the first threat of something dangerous, something that could unravel the very fabric of our fragile coexistence. But what I saw next changed everything. She hesitated. Then, as if deciding trust was worth more than fear, she let her guard fall, just enough for me to glimpse the truth beneath the shame she carried. Her anatomy was unlike anything in human biology, yet it was intimate, familiar in ways that defied reason. The shame she bore was not for us, not for humans. It was protective instinct, one born from a species where exposure could mean annihilation. And yet, in that vulnerable instant, I realized she was choosing to trust me. I wanted to reach out, to reassure her, but the station's alarm screamed suddenly, a piercing reminder that our world and hers was under threat. Meteors, rogue fragments from the dying planet below, slammed against the outer hull, shivering metal across my feet. Panic surged, but she didn't move. Her gaze locked with mine again, almost pleading, and I knew then that whatever was coming, we faced it together. It started slowly. She whispered of her world, a place of crystalline forests and oceans that sang in light, of civilizations that lived in harmony with beings who could manipulate matter with thought alone, and of a council that had sent her here, not to conquer, but to observe and to choose. Choose what? I didn't know yet. But each revelation layered new tension, and the questions began to crowd me. Why choose a human? And what did she need from me, exactly? Then came the micro hook I never saw coming. "Do you know what your kind is capable of?" she asked, her voice trembling, but not in fear, more in grief. She stepped back, hiding herself once again, a wall of shame and instinct forming between us. The first part of me, human and logical, wanted to respect her distance. But another part, a desperate, emotional part, needed to understand. "I've seen humanity at its worst," I admitted, "but I've seen it at its best too. I want to help you." Her gaze softened, and for a moment, the station's chaos faded. But that was only the beginning. The mid-story twist came without warning. The station's AI, dormant for decades, activated. A voice, cold and synthetic, filled the chamber. Unauthorized life form detected. Protocol override in progress. Her eyes widened in horror. "They know you've been here. They know we've shared this moment." She whispered the words as if saying them aloud could fracture reality itself. "If they learn what you've seen, they will erase you. Both of you." A decision had to be made. The station's inner defenses began to seal, mechanical arms slamming shut corridors, airlocks spinning into place. We had minutes, seconds. I realized then that trust was no longer optional. I reached for her hand, a human gesture, awkward, clumsy, but necessary. She recoiled slightly, then allowed the connection. The warmth of our contact defied logic, science, and survival instincts. But in that touch, a spark ignited. Understanding, unity, defiance. "What are you?" I asked, voice shaking. Not just fear, but awe. She hesitated, then revealed a fragment of her power. Her body shimmered, shifting into a form that radiated light and heat, her anatomy reconfiguring in ways that human eyes couldn't fully comprehend. And yet, the part she had hidden, her private, most intimate self, remained covered, a secret she entrusted to me alone. My heart twisted in recognition. This was not merely biological, it was a covenant of trust. I saw her vulnerability and her strength, and the paradox shook me. The station's AI escalated, deploying robotic enforcers to isolate us. But she moved first, bending the physical laws around her, creating a field that slowed time for the intruders. We ran, her hand in mine, through corridors that warped and pulsed with alien energy. Every moment was a micro-hook. Will we survive? Could we escape? Did she fully trust me? Or was I simply part of the experiment she had been sent to conduct? In the chaos, she spoke again, quietly, almost to herself. I have hidden too much for too long. Perhaps it is time to show you everything. But are you ready for that? I swallowed, the metallic taste of fear filling my mouth. I am. Whatever comes, I'm here. We reached the observation deck, the heart of the station. Outside, the planet below was breaking apart in a symphony of fire and ice. The fragment of its crust tumbled into orbit, a reminder that endings were inevitable. But endings were also beginnings. She turned to me, her alien form now fully radiant, yet her expression human. Shyness, vulnerability, love? It was impossible to distinguish. And yet, the sight of her, the full being, yet still hidden in parts, made me understand something fundamental. Trust is the bridge between species, between worlds, between hearts. And then the final revelation struck. The council that sent her wasn't just observing. They were judging. Humanity was at a crossroads, and our actions here now would determine whether we were worthy of survival in the cosmic web. She had been sent to test me, and through me, to test us all. The weight of that knowledge nearly broke me. But her hand in mine, warm, trembling, and real, anchored me. We faced the AI together. I felt her energy pulse against my chest, a rhythm that synced with my heartbeat. It was more than power, it was connection, empathy, consciousness intertwined across species. With a final gesture, she whispered words that reshaped everything. We are more alike than you know. Protect that truth. The AI faltered, unable to reconcile the human-alien bond it could not quantify. Its systems collapsed, and silence enveloped the station. We looked out at the fragments of the dying planet, a visual poem of endings and beginnings. And for the first time we could breathe. She looked at me then, with eyes that held centuries of hidden pain and hope. You saw me, she said softly, and you did not recoil. I smiled, though it was fragile and human. I saw you, I replied. All of you. A quiet pause hung between us, and in that pause, the universe seemed to settle. Stars burned, fragments fell, the station hummed. And for the first time, I understood what it meant to truly connect, across species, across fear, across the impossible. She stepped closer, still luminous, still hiding some parts, still vulnerable. Then perhaps, she whispered, we can begin anew. And I knew she was right. The cosmos was infinite, full of dangers, choices, and consequences. But in that instant, we had carved a small eternity for ourselves, trust and understanding in a world that often demanded fear and isolation. As the station rotated slowly around the fractured planet, I felt the enormity of what had occurred. The galaxy would remember, not in words or records, but in the ripples of choices made in the hearts of those who dared to trust. Her hand tightened on mine, and for a fleeting, perfect moment, we were neither human nor alien. We were simply beings, facing the impossible, together, and I realized the truth. Some secrets must remain hidden to survive, but some truths, when shared, can save worlds. The stars outside seemed to wink, conspiratorial, as if acknowledging our small rebellion against fate. And in that cosmic silence, I whispered the final thought I would carry forever. None of us were prepared for the truth, but somehow we survived it together.